guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Modesty33 here, aka Crystal with a C. Back at you in another video. But if you're new to my channel, you just happen to click on. Welcome. I try to put out 1 to 2 videos a week. I do sit downs, reviews, reactions, vlogs. So if any of those things interest you, make sure you check out the prior videos on my channel. And if you see anything you like before you leave, make sure you subscribe. So guys, I'm actually refilming this video because I had a lot of interruptions when I filmed it last time because I was waiting on groceries. So I hope you do enjoy this video. Because I didn't want it to be like super repetitive from the different cuts, but yeah, I wanted to do like a first impressions on my recent Cartier pieces. If you haven't caught up on those videos, make sure you watch them before you dig into this video. But I did do a part 1 and a part 2 unboxing of a few pieces that had been on my wish list for a while. I've finally been able to add them in the past month. So both pieces, one piece is like a month old now, the other one will be a month in a few days. So again, I just thought it was a good time to do some first impressions, let you know a little bit about the pieces as well as things I like and things I don't like about them after wearing them for like a month and almost a month now. So guys, let's go ahead and get started. So the first piece that I bought that is actually a month old is this Cartier love bracelet here. They call it the love bracelet on the website, but a lot of people know it as the interlocking love bracelet. But if you look on the website, again, it's just gonna say love bracelet. And this is part of the love collection. If you know anything about me, I mentioned this in other videos. In general, I do not like the love collection. I just think it's quite plain. Now that does not mean that I would not accept like a love bangle, whether it be the small or the large or even anything with diamonds. I would definitely accept it as a gift, guys, and I would wear it proudly because I would more so appreciate the sentiment behind the gift as opposed to the actual item. But as it relates to Crystal with a C, you know, investing money in the love collection, this is as good as it gets for me. Like, I don't really like the bangles. I don't like the rings. And, you know, I've looked at them, I've seen them in person, I've seen unboxings, I've seen a lot of people complain about the scratching. I just think that for me personally, my love of Cartier comes in some of the unique designs of the items that are available within Cartier. I mean, because if it weren't for the uniqueness of a lot of these items that I personally gravitate toward, then I would just buy cheaper jewelry items from Kay's or other jewelers. So Kay's is just kind of the one that I've, you know, had a relationship with for a lot of years, but I could also buy jewelry from anywhere. But yeah, like for me, I gravitate toward kind of, to me personally, they're more unique designs and offerings of Cartier. And yeah, for me, I've talked about this as well in other videos. I am a gold person. I'm not really a precious jewel person, which is why I'm not into Van Cleef and Arpels. Even though I've gone into the store, I did like some of the Alhambra collection pieces. I've tried some of the items on, but like when it comes down to it with me, I like to wear my pieces pretty much 24/7. I don't like to take them off. So that's why I've personally gravitated toward Cartier as well as like Kay Jewelers. So I don't have to take these pieces on and off. Me, when I picture like my aesthetic and jewelry, for me, it's like a ready-made look. So when I get up in the morning, I'm pretty much ready to go. I already have my studs. I don't have to pick out any earrings. I have my necklace that will complement whatever outfit that I'm wearing. I just have to put my rings on, but my bracelet stack is already set. So, you know, it cuts down on time for me personally. And then it's things that I just get to enjoy day by day, even if I never leave my home, because you guys know I do work from home. So I will always get use out of my jewelry, even if I don't get a lot of uses out of bags or even other auxiliary or accessory items. So this is kind of like a little bit of background about me. If you don't know, if this is your first video of watching, as far as like why I feel the way I feel about certain things. So yeah, for me personally, like this item, when I saw it last year, I probably had seen it before last year, but I just noticed it last year. I don't know if you guys kind of understand how that is, where you'll see something and you'll bypass it, but then there comes a time where you'll actually take the time, stop and notice something. And that's what happened with me with this love bracelet, where I noticed it and I felt like it would stack very well with my other pieces here, which I have this tennis bracelet gifted to me by my mother. And I have this Just Unclued regular size bracelet in the yellow gold that I got last year. This one's almost a year old this month. And yeah, So this was something I've been thinking about since I got this piece and started stacking it with my tennis bracelet. Just kind of having another piece, a daintier piece to kind of, for me personally, complete my bracelet stack. So yeah, this is in the yellow gold and it comes in one size. So keep that in mind. And yeah, the rings on here are very small and they're oval in shape. So, and it does make a slight little sound, but nothing too loud. So it doesn't like make a whole lot of noise. I feel like, to me personally, my Just Unclued makes a bit more noise, like it's more noticeable because it's a bigger piece when it kind of clangs against my bracelet. But yeah, this, it doesn't to me make a whole lot of noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But to me, like, that's me shaking my arm very hard. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make a lot of noise. It's not noticeable to me personally anyway. So I do like that. But I also like the little bit of the clang. I ain't gonna lie. So the other thing about this piece is I think it's at a really good price point. It did cost $19.10 before taxes. And like, if you just look at the other offerings from the Love collection, they can get quite up there, especially like the Love bangle. But I think this one is pretty well priced for what it is, a nice little dainty piece. It could be worn on its own, but I think it looks nice stacked with other pieces as well. So that's the other thing I like about it. It is in the yellow gold, but it does come in the yellow gold, white gold, and then yeah, the rose gold as well. So I'm trying to think of what else. The thing that I didn't really like about this piece and what I've noticed since I purchased it. So let me give you a brief timeline. I purchased this piece on a Sunday, right? Then I wore it for one day stacked with my other two pieces, and it just had way too much movement for me personally, more than what I'm used to. So I'm used to a little bit of movement between these two pieces, but when I added this one, it was just kind of getting in between the nail head. It was also like getting in between these two pieces. And sometimes it would just end up at the bottom of my like wrist too. It would even be getting underneath my tennis bracelet. So that's a bit much for me personally. Like, I really was wanting this piece to kind of sit at the top of the wrist and be all cute and dainty. And then, yeah, just have these other pieces and then have my Apple Watch kind of down here when I work out. That was the whole vision, right? So I took it home Sunday. I wore it out of the store because I felt like it was going to be a pain to try to put it back on once I wore it out of the store. And then I wore it for one day and it annoyed me so much, you guys, that I took it back on Monday, not to return it, but I asked them about getting it adjusted because I just felt like it just had it had too much movement for me personally to comfortably stack it with my other two pieces. Now, when I took it back to the store that Monday, it seemed like my sales associate was a bit hesitant to make the adjustments for whatever reason. So she looked at it, she told me like, well, yeah, they can maybe remove 2 links. They can remove 2 or 3 links is what she told me. If they remove 2, you'll still have a little bit of space because, you know, again, in the summertime, people tend to swell, so you don't want it to be too tight. But if you get 3 removed, it's probably going to be really like tight to your wrist, and it's going to be very flush, right? So she told me like, oh, if you get 3 removed, it's probably going to be like this. It's going to dig in a bit. So I went ahead and decided to get 2 links removed because I also remember when I tried this piece on back in December, the sales associate at the time, which was not my regular sales associate, she told me that she thought that the piece would be perfect if 2 links were removed. So yeah, this is kind of the common theme. I was like, okay, well, let's do 2 links. So if you don't know, when you do buy a piece from Cartier, I believe it's within the first 6 months or within the first year, you can get 1 free adjustment. After that, on the website, it says that you can get, you know, however many adjustments you want. But after the first adjustment that's done, complimentary for free during that, I believe 6 months, or it might even be up to a year time frame, then you do have to pay to get the second adjustment after that. And that ranges from $190 and up per the website. Now, your sales associate might tell you something else when you get into the store, depending on relationship, depending on, you know, how they feel that day. But on the website, it says starting at $190, right? And so I did elect to get 2 of the links removed. And then that was on a Monday, right? And on Tuesday, they emailed me and told me that, hey, it's ready for pickup. The links have been removed, because I had to leave it there. And they said they'd email me when it was ready and it was complete. So that was on Tuesday. They emailed me, all the links have been removed. You can pick up your piece. Great. So I picked it up on Tuesday. My sales associate wasn't there, so it was a guy who was helping me. He put the piece on me. And when he put it on me, I kind of felt like, dang, did y'all remove anything? Like, this still feels kind of loose to me. But like, he looked at it and he was like, yeah, so I think this is perfect, because again, keeping in mind with, you know, your fingers and your arms, they do tend to swell in the summer. And I was just really confused by that, because I'm like, guys, we're in summer, like it's August. I don't know how much hotter it gets than this. Like, I've been in Texas for over 4 years now. And y'all telling me about summer, but we in summer. I'm gonna go outside to summer. And when I was outside in the summer, it was still loose on my wrist. So, you know, that's what they were saying. They're like, oh yeah, you know, it's summer, so you want to leave a little bit of space. But it kind of felt like to me like the links hadn't been removed, but they did give me the links. So, I mean, I believe they did remove the 2 links, but it's kind of like with the remainder that's hanging, I almost feel like another 1 or 2 links could have been removed and it would have been a little bit more flush to the wrist, right? So I didn't say anything about it, because guys, I've already paid $2,000 after taxes for the bracelet. I'm not paying Cartier another $200 to take 1 ring out, because I've already had my complimentary, adjustment. And so, and then too, I wanted to go out of the store and sit with it for a bit and see how I felt about it. So I didn't want to make a rash decision and be like, oh no, I want y'all to remove some more, because I kind of get what they're saying. Like, if I'm a person, which I was a person, and I hope I will get back to that once I get some things taken care of. But like, if you're a person, say, who, wears this jewelry and you're lifting weights, or you're doing planks, or, different things where your wrist isn't just like this, but you are like lifting, you're planking, where again, when you're exercising, how you tend to swell. I could see how this would be uncomfortable if I got it tightened even more, and how you would want to have a bit more of this space at the bottom. And I can even see it, like I said, if you're not planning on stacking this piece with the items that I've chosen to stack it with, or if you're like, again, wearing it by itself. I can completely see that, like, where they're coming from as it relates to it not being too tight on the wrist. But it just, yeah, it does still, even with the 2 rings being removed, it still has quite a bit of movement that I don't necessarily love, is what I will say. So that's kind of the thing I don't like about this, is the movement. I don't like that I can't self-adjust it. I do have to get rings removed. And yeah, like, it doesn't necessarily like do this whole thing where like these 2 will do. Like, I have these Trinity bracelets, and what they will do is they will go all the way around a 360 on the wrist, which I don't like either. And these do have 3 adjustments, but it's just the 3rd adjustment is too tight. The second one is very similar to this one, where there's like a little bit hanging, so it just has that free range of movement. And just maybe I'm just not used to jewelry. Like, it's kind of like, again, kind of like the Instagram pictures, and that just goes to show you Instagram and YouTube and all that's not reality. When, people take these beautiful pictures of their jewelry, I want my hand to always look like that. But the reality is, when I'm moving, when I'm doing different things, it's not going to be that way unless it's very tight and flush to the wrist, which can like mess with, your comfortability, like it being comfortable. And it can also mess with your circulation as well if you get things too tight. But yeah, I'm just kind of anal like that, I guess, with jewelry. Like, I want it to look this way all the time, and it clearly doesn't. Like I said, this one, sometimes you'll catch it and it will be turned all the way around, and I'll have to do the adjustment. That's just life. So I wasn't looking to get another piece that would be similar, but it seems like this one is almost kind of similar. But with the 2 rings on top, this one rarely does this thing where it will go to the bottom. Very rarely do I have this ever happen, to be honest. Even when it was longer, it didn't really do that. So I think, yeah, this kind of, because of the weight here, it doesn't necessarily fall down the wrist. I don't know how the physics of that work, but it doesn't do the same as these two do. So that's one thing. I guess that's a plus. But yeah, like it does still have quite a bit of movement. Again, I was kind of hoping that it was going to sit on the smallest part of my wrist and be like all dainty and cute. And you know, it will do that for a minute and then it will start to get stuck in between the nail portion here, which is why I was wearing this the other way for a while or for a bit. And then it will sometimes even get in between here, and sometimes it'll even be at the bottom of my wrist and it'll get underneath here. So still, there's more movement that I would prefer. However, one thing I noticed this past week, which probably is good that I had that experience, because now I'm a bit hesitant to get any more rings removed. I did have to have like an MRI earlier in the week, so I had to take all of my jewelry off. And everything I'm pretty used to as it relates to putting my jewelry back on, like even these pieces with the 3 adjustments, like I can pretty well get these back on fairly quickly. And of course, rings are fine with putting on and off. This has a clasp and it's fine. I can do that. This is a bangle, so I just literally put it on my wrist and pop it, you know, like push it in and you'll hear when it closes. So it takes less than 2 seconds to do that. However, of course, my newest piece gave me the most trouble to get back on. So, and I think part of that is because of the 2 rings I had removed. It was just really difficult to get the 2 pieces kind of together and connect them. So I'm a bit concerned that if I get any more removed, it would be virtually impossible for me to get this back on my wrist by myself. So that's kind of my concern. So for now, I'm just leaving it. I'm just gonna manage the movement and be a bit more flexible, I guess. So I mean, it's not horrible. It's just, you know, when you have a picture of something and then it doesn't necessarily do the thing you thought it was going to do, it gets a bit annoying. So it takes some time to get used to. And again, I've only had this piece for a month, but I'm just letting you know my first impressions and things I've noticed, what's annoying. But again, I'm not going to have anything else removed from this right now because I think it would just be virtually impossible to get it on by myself, and to have to rely on someone else to get it on, that's not feasible for me. So I'm just gonna move on from that, and I want to move on to my Trinity ring because that's all I really wanted to say about this piece. So I purchased, like I said, both of these like a week apart, so I just want to do both in one video. So if you don't know, this is the Trinity cushion ring in the size medium. This is a new offering from Cartier just this year in 2024, celebrating the 100-year collection of, or the 100 years of the Trinity collection that started, I think, in 1924 is when the collection was first introduced. And now in 2024, again, they introduced these newer designs into the Trinity collection to celebrate 100 years. So I was originally looking at the round Trinity ring last year after getting back from London, and it was like pretty much on my wish list at the next piece. I'm not a stranger to the Trinity collection. These are the first bracelets I actually own, which were these right here, the small Trinity bracelet, which is the first one I got back in 2022. It was like around $1,200. And then a few months later, I purchased this one. I had no knowledge that there was this bigger one that's virtually twice the size of this smaller one, and it has a ring of diamonds. So this one at the time was like around $2,900. Which to me is like a good price for Cartier, you know, being a luxury jewelry brand and getting a piece having diamonds like for under $3,000. Now it's over $3,000 because the Trinity has gotten more popularity, so they did go up on some of these prices. But I mean, I don't think it's like extravagant to me personally when you compare it to some of Cartier's other items. But yeah, so with the ring, I was looking at the round one. I tried it on. I was trying to decide between like the Trinity wedding band and the regular size Trinity ring, which is like around like a $500+ difference between the two. The other one was very small and dainty. I was gonna wear it on like this finger of my right hand, and the other one is a bit more substantial. So I kind of let that settle, and then around February, I found out about this collection. And I'm so glad I waited. because I was so drawn by this squared off collection. I just thought it, again, so unique, so different, celebrating the 100 years because I mean, not only, you know, is it unique because it's 3 different rings, it's white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold, and combining it to one ring, but also because it's squared off. I mean, you can wear it with the corners up, and that's a cool little look right there. But yeah, like I just really love it. So again, it is the 3 different rings in one, and on the rose gold portion in particular, it does have Cartier written. You're not going to be able to see that, but it's very small writing on the rose gold portion. So this one retailed for $21.70 for the medium model. They do have a larger one that's like about $4,000. I did try that one on as well. It's quite big and it's quite statement. But yeah, this one to me was like a good in between because I felt like with the round rings and the offerings, like the wedding band was a bit small and the bigger one was kind of big. This one, yeah, is medium as it says, so it's like kind of in between. I really like the size of this one. So it's nice to wear on its own, but it's also nice as it relates to if you want to stack. So let me show you a few ways in which I would stack this. So, you know, I do wear it by itself. It does fit for me on these 3 fingers of my left hand, and it will also fit on my right hand on the same 3 fingers. Originally, I purchased it for my right hand to wear on the thumb so it could match with my other Trinity bracelets, but that's just not how I've been vibing lately, guys. It's just another left hand ring. So yeah, I've been wearing it on these 3 fingers of my left hand so I can wear it by itself, and that's how it looks. Very nice, very pretty. But also I can stack it with my Just Unclue. Let me put that on top, and that's how it looks as well. Let me come a little closer. And the Just Unclue that I have is in the small model, and it is in the yellow gold. And this is a size 60. The Cartier Trinity ring, if I didn't mention, is a size 63. It was for my thumb. But yeah, it does fit on all 3 of these fingers as well as these 3 fingers. So, but I think they said you do have to size up in the Trinity ring. So I could stack it, like I said, this way, and it looks like that. Also, I've been stacking it lately with my Clash ring, which is in the size 60 as well, and it's in the rose gold. So the Clash ring only comes in rose gold as well as in white gold. So what I'll do is I'll put my Clash ring on first, like on my middle finger, and then I will put my Trinity ring on top. And I really like the fact that the Clash ring is in rose gold, and on the Trinity ring, the portion that says Cartier is on the rose gold portion. I'm just kind of adjusting it so the, yeah, rose gold can, you won't be able to see it like I said. But this portion here is the rose gold, and it just really kind of, the Clash ring I feel like brings out the rose gold even more in the Trinity ring. So I really like that combination. You can also wear it with the corner up, but just wearing it this way, I mean, that's another way you can wear it, but it's just not comfortable between these 2 fingers with the corners kind of poking me on both sides. Even though they're flat corners, it's still a bit uncomfortable. So yeah, usually I'm gonna wear it, you know, as it's kind of designed with the corners, you know, so that the corners are on each side and they're flat. But yeah, this is a very comfortable ring. I've even slept with it. So I will say that even with the squared off edges, it's not that squared. So yeah, that's another way I will wear it with the Clash ring. And I think that's just very pronounced, like very statement. I've never seen anyone do that, but maybe they have and I'm just basic. So I accept that. You can also wear it like with the Clash ring on top, but I feel like that looks a little uneven personally, so I wouldn't do that. But that's another way you can do it as well. Also, what I would not do and what I do not do is I don't wear this ring next to other rings. I always wear it by itself, and I will just kind of put on my other rings on, like say my thumb. So I'll do that, and I'll tell you why as well. So one of the things So I really love this ring. Like I said, I just think it's very unique as far as its design. You can be worn different ways. Now, what I don't like about the, I was gonna say Clash. What I don't like about the Trinity ring that I've observed thus far with almost 1 month of use. Now, when I was in the store and I've tried this ring on many times, what my sales associate will do is she will get all the rings like even on her hand before she allows me to put it on, because she told me that the ring does not roll correctly if you don't line up the rings perfectly. And she's right, because I didn't observe this until I got home and started wearing the ring. But like, it has to be like, essentially, when I take it off a certain way. So when I put it down, it goes down a certain way as well. Because if not, and if I drop the ring and get the rings mixed up, it will not roll down on my finger correctly. And I have to figure out what, you know, the correct way for it to go so it will roll down my finger correctly and have the proper movement. So that's kind of a negative, because that's annoying, guys. Like, it's annoying to have to take so much time and care to make sure the rings are lined up correctly so that they roll down my finger correctly. Because otherwise, like I said, it's not gonna roll on my finger correctly. And it's gonna get stuck in certain places, and it's just not gonna have the freedom of movement that it's supposed to when it goes on your finger. So that's one thing I don't like. That's why I don't really like to take it off, because I like fear it falling in an incorrect way and then me having to take a long period of time to figure out how to put it correctly again so it will roll down my finger the way it's supposed to. So that's one thing I don't like about it. The other thing is, guys, which I never thought about until, again, I've worn this for a while. Like, if you're a person and you really want your ring to be very beautiful and pristine, this is not the ring for you, because it is 18K gold, and because the rings do have to roll down your finger to get, you know, down to the base of your finger, the rings are rolling over themselves and they're scratching, right? So this ring definitely has quite a few scratches with just, again, less than a month of use. And I'm certain I can get it shined or what have you, but it's not going to take away all the scratches, and it's going to get scratched every time you put it on, because again, it's 18K gold, which is a bit softer, and then it has to roll on top of the other rings to get on your finger. Unlike my other two rings, which are the Clash, because of the way it's designed, you're not gonna see any scratches on this unless you got a microscope or unless your vision is, you know, superior. And same thing with the Just on Clue. You're gonna see maybe some scratches like on the band and the edge, but it's not at all noticeable. Most of the scratches you're gonna kind of see on the nail head, and same with the regular size Just on Clue. The scratches you're going to see are going to be on the nail head. Because this item is bigger, I can see scratches along the actual nail right here, and on like the tip right here, I can see scratches, but only because it's a bigger piece. But on the actual ring, you can only see scratches, I feel like, on the nail head, unless you have a microscope and you can see the other superficial scratches. So this one, you're going to be able to see the scratches, and this is why I wouldn't wear rings next to it, because it's just going to scratch it even more. So that's something to also keep in mind. If you like really are against, or you are really super annoyed by scratches, this is not the ring for you. I would say not this one, not the round one. Like, they're gonna get scratched from all the movement on and off your hand, unless you never take it off. And I don't live that kind of life, so I can't advise you on that. But if you're that person, it's probably still gonna get scratched, to be honest, because again, just from regular movement, but probably not as scratched as my rings are. So anyway, guys, that might have been kind of drawn out, but hopefully you guys really enjoyed. That's all I really wanted to share as it relates to these two Cartier pieces that I've added to my collection, how I've been feeling about them, and how they've kind of integrated into my current and present collection. So if you have any specific questions, definitely let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Definitely comment below, but make sure you like this video if you did enjoy the content, you enjoyed the first impressions. I'll definitely probably talk about my jewelry more. Maybe I'll do a 1-year review on the Just on Clue bracelet, regular size, let you know if I feel like it's worth it or not, would I I've noticed. If you guys are interested in that, or maybe I'll do it anyway. But yeah, and definitely before you leave, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. You do that by hitting the red button below and the bell next to it so you're notified when I do upload future videos. Again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.